Hello everyone, and welcome again to the Ink Nouveau, the essence of writing passion. I'm Brian Goulet of the Goulet Pen Company, and what I'm going to be doing today is reviewing the US-made Quo Vadis Habana line. Now I'm going to go over the large ones and the small ones and try and cover a good line of the different colors and options that you have. So let's snap to it. This is the line of Quo Vadis Habanas here in a variety of colors and sizes. There are two sizes, the large ones, which are claimed to be a 6x9, and the small ones, which are 4x6. Now I was curious about the 6x9, so I actually went and physically measured them, and you're looking at about a 6 and 3/8 by about 9.5. Even on the inside on the paper, I didn't quite get 6x9, so I don't know really where they get that from, but that gives you an idea. And the small one, you're looking at about 4x6. So, you know, pretty darn close to it on the small one there. The biggest difference between the large and the small ones, the large ones come with 90-gram weight paper in the US versions. And it has 8mm spacing for the lines. Now the lines for the large one, because of the 8mm spacing, you're going to get 26 lines per page. The small ones are much smaller, 5mm spacing, and you're going to get 28 lines per page. So you get a lot more lines, but on a smaller page. And you can see the comparison between the two. It's a pretty drastic difference between the rulings of the small one and the large one. The most drastic of any of the other notebooks I've seen. For example, the Rhodia Web notebooks, the large one has 7mm and the small one is 6mm. A little bit different, but this one is pretty drastic. Both of them have the elastic strap and the ribbon marker. Elastic strap on here and the ribbon marker here in the front. And they both have the little pocket in the back as well. There's your pocket, and there's your pocket. Okay? Now, that kind of covers that. They both have white paper, very smooth, white Clairefontaine paper, made in France, and then these are assembled in the United States. Now, the Habanas that you're going to get in other parts of the world are going to be different than these ones. The full-size Habanas have 80-gram paper in other countries, but in the US, 90-gram. Really, really good stuff for fountain pens. They come in 4 different colors: black, blue, red, and taupe, or as I call it, brown. Much easier. They're the exact same notebooks, exact same, just a different color. Okay. Then you have the Robert line, which it's a French artist, and all it is a different print. He's got 4 different styles. I only have 2 of them with me right now. This is the almond, and this is the chocolate. And you can see, very cool, very stylish. Has a neat texture to it. The metal, the silver part is shiny. Really cool and kind of artsy. The notebook itself is exactly the same as the other ones. All that's different is the design. Okay. And it has the same ones in the smaller guys too. It's got the the almond and the chocolate there. Same thing as the small ones, but different designs. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to go through and I want to test them with the fountain pen. So I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. Come down on my tripod. Okay, I'm going to test it with 3 different types of pens, because I want you to get an idea, because you may want to use them for different purposes. Alright? Now, I'm only going to test one of each type, the small and the large, because they are different weights of paper. Okay? You have the large one, which is 90-gram weight paper, great Clairefontaine stuff, really, really high quality paper. I'm very impressed with the quality of this. First one I'm going to test it with, I have some J. Herbin Eclat de Saphir, and I have it in a fine steel semi-flex nib. And I'll give it a test right here. Next one I have is a stub nib, a medium stub, 1.1mm italic, 14 karat, and it writes a little bit wetter, so I want to give this one a test too. lastly, I have a magnetic cap roller ball. This is a true stone material, and this one is a Schmidt 5888 ceramic gel roller ball. And the reason I want to test all three of these is because I want you to see that there's no feathering with either the fountain pen or the roller ball. It's very smooth paper. It's a real joy to write on. And then on the other side too, we don't have any bleed through whatsoever. You can see a little bit of echoing, which means that you can see what was written on the previous page, but it's not nearly as bad as a lot of other notebooks. You can easily write on the other side and see what's going on here still. It doesn't really compete with the background much at all when there's something written on it. So that gives you an idea of what the large one is like. And this is 90-gram paper. Then, again, really good stuff. The thing that concerns a lot of people is that the small one comes with 64-gram weight paper. The reason that this one comes with 64-gram paper is because if this one came with 96 sheets of this 90-gram paper that this has, the notebook itself would be a lot thicker. Okay, so in order to keep it small and portable, it's given this thinner paper. Okay, so I'm going to do the same test with the same 3 pens, but on the 64-gram paper, and I'll let you see how it turns out. Okay, there you go. You can see this is still the same smooth paper, it's just a little bit lighter weight in order to thin up the notebook. The ruling is a little bit to get used to, but a lot of you like small ruling out there, so that's good for you. And even though it's only 64-gram paper, you do get a little more of an echo, but surprisingly, you don't have any problems with bleed through. Other notebooks I've used, Moleskines and things like that, if you get a paper that's this thin, you get a real problem with bleed through, even in heavier weights. But because this is such a good quality paper, even in the 64-gram weight paper with the wetter italic stub nib, it still didn't bleed through, which is still kind of amazing to me. Really high quality stuff. So I'm not going to say that it's not ever going to bleed through, or that you couldn't use a nice double broad or something and bleed through it. But for the weight of the paper, it performs pretty darn good. Well, I hope you were able to find this review helpful. I got to teach you a little bit more about the Quo Vadis Habana. It's a very popular notebook. It's relatively new. The 90-gram weight version is relatively new. And it's an up-and-coming, very popular notebook. I sell a lot of these things, and for good reason. I use one personally for my journaling and business ideas and notes and things like that. And I personally really love it. So I'd love for you to try it, maybe compare it to some other notebooks and see what you've got. It's definitely giving the Moleskines a run for their money. The large ones retail for about $20. That's their list price. You can find them less than that, and the small ones retail for about $15 as a list price. Thank you for sticking with me here with this video. This has been the Ink Nouveau. If you want to email me, brian@gouletpens.com. Let me know what you think of my review, whether it's great or whether it stinks. I want to know either way. Tell me what other reviews you want to see, and I'm happy to provide those for you. Thank you, and I'll see you next time on the Ink Nouveau.